What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Erasure, and we're returning to the 2000 album Loveboat, which I was intrigued. It seemed like a couple folks mentioned this is sort of a divisive album. Not every Erasure fan is hugely fond of it. Ultimately, I'm here for all Erasure, so I'll go through it and enjoy it on its own terms, even if maybe in the end or in retrospect it won't be among my favorite albums from Andy and Vince. In any case, I am keen to give a shout out to a friend of the channel named Dan, who often goes back and watches and comments on older Erasure reactions, even as we're going through the catalog forward in time. So, yes, your appreciation and enjoyment of the Erasure playlist on my channel has not gone unnoticed, and I enjoy the way that you're exploring all of the various videos over time. So big shout out to you. In any case, the next track is Where in the World, which feels like half of a question. I feel like if you end it there in a question mark, it implies a dialogue, because otherwise, you're missing the subject of the question. In any case, I wonder whether this is a search for someone in particular, whether it's a search for a type of an experience, a type of relationship, a break from the misfortunes or vicissitudes or drama of emotional experience, meaning you're looking for an oasis. Like, where is this relationship that I've been waiting for? Where in the world can I find this person who will satiate or satisfy the longing I have? Obviously that's very speculative, but let's see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Erasure. The tune is Where in the World, and it's from their 2000 album Loveboat.
Where in the world did you go? Without a clue, without a word. What on earth did I do wrong? You won't believe how much I hurt. I can't believe the mess we're in. My sense of humor and fear gets away with murder every day. Can't you hear me? Won't you make it go away? Enough to taste of bitterness. It's me in the face, someone else's words. Here I lie awake alone, just wishing you'd come home. You leave me desolate and sore. Go and find someone else's war. And so you put us both to shame. Won't you make it go away? We're in. My sense of humor and fear. No one's getting younger anyway. Can you hear me? Won't you make it go away? I can't believe the mess we're in. My sense of humor gets away with murder every Won't you make it go away?
I like that a lot, actually, and it's intriguing. Sonically, there's some aspects of it that feel wheelhouse Erasure, and others that felt less so, including Andy's vocals, which at some points almost sounded a bit Elvis-like deep and, heavy and like thick and rich, and even like it sounded like sort of a frontier guitar like stroke. There were a couple sonic elements that were a bit outside what I've come to expect. Now, fair to say, over the course of the Erasure albums I've already gone through, there's been a fair amount of variety, certainly in terms of the energy or the weight of tunes, and even to some extent like the sonic atmosphere. Again, the self-titled 95 album had a lot of like soundscape type of ambience, whereas some of the early stuff had that like energetic 80s synth pop sound in, Erasure's own way, and then Cowboy had a bit more of a like pop feel, so definitely already some variety. But this one, again, it felt a bit different than a lot of the stuff that I've heard from them. And I enjoyed all the different keyboard lines, including one that at first I was like, is that a harpsichord style keyboard element, which, always gives it a bit of a Baroque feel, or is that actually like an acoustic guitar line, but with a bit like a bite, so it has that kind of pluck string sound that you get with a harpsichord. I think it was a keyboard line in the style of a harpsichord, but I suppose it could have been an acoustic guitar. But then there was also like a lower and more clearly like keyboard line. There was like these big organ, like electric church organ type of chords that stood out in the latter half. And then there were some, there was like a tension string behind some of it. So there was a nice layering of melodic elements. And there was there was like a very like electric keyboard line that was more like wheelhouse Vince Sonics. So yeah, a really cool arrangement of sounds. And lyrically, it sounds like he is looking for another person, but not like looking for a hypothetical person. He's looking for a very specific person, his partner, or at least his former partner, and he's a bit bewildered. It sounds like he doesn't even know why they left suddenly and without saying a word. Just a really dramatic and seismic shift in their relations, and just, walked out and went somewhere else, and he does not know where. And he's sort of in this, like, he's growing weary. It's like, his sense of humor is wearing thin, and he's wondering if and when they'll come back and hoping that they do. Now, there was another, like, line where it was like, don't get close to me or something, where I felt like, oh, is that like a countervailing sentiment? Or, I wasn't sure exactly how that fit in. But the overall arc seems to be that he did something, or he must have done something that set the other person off, although I suppose it could just be they got tired, they felt like there's just nothing here for them anymore, and they decided not to make it a big drawn-out goodbye, but just left suddenly. But yeah, he feels like maybe there was some cataclysmic threshold that occurred, though he can't locate that, or he can't place what that was, and now he's feeling like, life doesn't really make sense anymore, and he's losing willpower as he waits to see if they'll come back, and, sort of leaving the light on for them. So yeah, he's wondering where they went and why, not feeling good about it, and musing on, what life is, or what his feelings are, or what his state of mind is in the absence of this person. So, I'm not going to say typical, because again, Erasure has some different feelings or thoughts about various relationship types over the course of the material I've already heard. But this does feel pretty common in Andy's writing, where it's like there's like emotional angst or upset feelings over a relationship gone wrong. So yeah, in that way it feels very like center lane when it comes to Erasure songwriting. So yeah, a cool one. I enjoyed it. Again, a bit unusual, maybe most notably in Andy's vocals, which, you know, to compare him to Elvis seems like a very odd comparison, but there were a couple moments there where he had that, you know, deep and resonant, like weighty type of delivery, which I don't normally associate with him. So, in any case, let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.